Today on the table we have a Smith & Wesson snub-nose revolver. Now this is actually a Smith & Wesson M&P, and the difference is that for a while they made those J-frame revolvers, and this is a much larger frame because the J-frames had 5 rounds in them. And then as of 1950, they started making these M&Ps, or at least the snub-nose version of this, which then, instead of 5 rounds, gave you 6, as you can see here. And obviously here we can do our safety check. Clearly it's not loaded because it's only got a 2-inch barrel. It's actually like 175. Well, I think it's 2 inches if you count the barrel here on the inside, because that goes all the way through from right here. That's about 2 inches, but really from what's sticking out from the frame of the gun is like just over an inch. It's a pretty short barrel. But this is, if you remember, if you look back on my old Smith & Wesson Model 10s where you see that flat latch that I have, that is a much smaller revolver as a snub nose than this. Like, this is a much beefier, heavier revolver. The frame is bigger, the grips are bigger. It's actually probably 25% heavier than the other one, than the smaller 5-round ones. But a lot of these were used by the police. So, you know, if you see like old detective movies, things like that, you see a lot of guys, this is what they were carrying, are these. So if you remember in, I think like Goodfellas, The Godfather, whenever you see somebody draw a snub nose, it's going to be one of these. They're not going to generally have the smaller 5-shot ones. They'll have these 6-shot ones just because they show up better on camera, obviously, you know, because there's more mass to it and you can actually see it. But, you know, again, they are 6-shot 38 specials. They are super cool. I've been on this big kick where I'm trying to find a lot more snubs, and then snubs of each model, like a Model 10, an M&P, which is basically a Model 10, just a bigger frame. I want a 15, and I'm trying to think, I think they may have made a 27 or a 28 in a snub. Let me know in the comments what snubs you have, if you have any. I definitely want a few 357 snubs. I think that would be pretty fun. That's like Walter what's his name? Matthau or whatever, is not Matthew the actor, but remember in Beverly Hills Cop, he has a nickel snub or stainless steel snub when he shoots Eddie Murphy at the end of the first Beverly Hills Cop. So I'm trying to find one of those as well too. And that's a 357. But anyways, these, obviously these military and police ones, they came in longer barrels. They are obviously easy to distinguish because of the 6 rounds, and then because actually here on the sight. So if you look at like the Model 10s, they have their sight kind of slants back. It doesn't have this half moon like this, as you see here. And this one is older. If many of you remember, it has my double diamond grips, like I like to call it, which is the diamond here inside of all these little diamonds. It's not really their true name. I like to call it that because it helps distinguish the age of these, and you know that you're getting one that is very early. Now this one, based on the serial number here, and I can show you here, the serial number starts with a C. This one's like around I think it's 1960, if I remember. I have to double check in my book. So it is very early. They did make them without a DA or a C, so you can get serial numbers that are just 6 digits without the letter on them. It'd be kind of fun to find one of those as well too. But it's super cool. I do plan on shooting this because, again, you know, it's super easy to maintain because there's not much to it, and the timing's great on it. It has a very light ring on the cylinder, which is common for obviously a pistol of this age or a revolver of this age, but it was a really cool deal, and I got a great deal on it. So yeah, it is just a super, super cool. Well, and it's in fantastic condition. It doesn't even look like it was holstered much or obviously re-blued. You can see here that, you know, there's not really any wear here on the end where if somebody were sticking it into a holster, or even right here on the cylinders, you don't really have any wear because that's what sticks out when you're rubbing it into jamming it into a holster. So pretty cool. I will make a comparison video with this and the flat latch so you guys can see the difference in size. You know, put them together, maybe and get a tape measure, and you can just see how much. And these do have my favorite triggers on them. They got these Ridge target triggers with the the target hammer here in the back. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if you have any snubs like this or any snub that you have. You know, let me know in the comments.